Well, hello and welcome to round number 10 of the National Capital Chapter BMW Sports Car Club of America. For Race First, this is Matt Houston, and we are at Road America, probably the icon of racing tracks in America here. Of course, there's the Circuit of the Americas, but has nowhere near the history that Road of America has in the States. Of course, there's like Watkins Glen as well. Pretty good ones. We're about a minute and a half, well, a minute until the clock runs out in qualifying. Darren Treakle is currently on the provisional pole, but we'll have another 2.5 minutes post that to let anybody on a hot lap here as we're watching Sten Cellier around the course here. So Darren Treakle on the pole, currently provisional pole. Stefan Vapa, Steve Ficacci, P3. Aaron Dietrich there in P4. That's a new entry this week, so we're going to have to watch for Aaron there as we see Colin Kortanek get looped around back to the pits. That will be session over for him. Back to Sten here. Colin Kortanek, P5. Dave Fitzgerald, he returned last week. Had a really good run, but had some issues, but overall fast performance. Good to see Dave back in the series. Andrew Stutzman, P7. Dean Tulin, P8. Perry Duncan, P9. Peter Yerxa, P10. Scott Kim, P11, Stephen Tenney, P12, Sten Cellier, P13, Robert Benson, P14. So we'll have to see. Here we go. About 2.5 minutes left in qualifying. We'll have a short pace lap here. And welcome to any viewers out there. Let me know in the comments who you want to, who you're supporting, who we, if you support somebody, then we'll check them out on the stream, of course. Fortunately, I don't see Barry out there today. He usually has a big support in the audience. Might be on vacation. About 14 cars starting here tonight. And we're going to be going into the sunset here. You can see the sun has gone over the horizon. We're going to have full lights near to the end of this one, so you'll have to bear with me while I figure out everything going on in the dark out here. Steve Ficacci, let's go on board with Steve here. He's going to be heading down to turn 5. Best passing point of the track here. There's actually several good passing points. And this is going to line him up into turn 6, kind of going over that crest there. Really easy place for your brakes, rear brakes to come around on you. Turn 7, this is the hurry downs straight into turn 8. And this is going to set us up for a long run, although there is this bridge and then the carousel, famous carousel here, but this whole carousel is about leading up speed and going onto the back straightaway, which does have a kink on it, which will be particularly an issue on the first lap with cold tires. So through this kink, Steve Ficacci here is going to be running it to the clock here, trying to get that provisional pole. Down the Kemmel Straight and Kemmel Bottoms into the Canada corner. That is turn 12. Number 12 and 13. And then through the turn 14 final corner. We'll see if Steve here is about to knock everybody. Oh no, he calls it into the pits. Not going to work out. So we will go through the grid real quick here. We've got, well, that's not correct. Yep, not correct. But we'll see if our very, very short pace lap here might have the correct results. Very, very short pace lap. Okay, it is not showing correctly. We had Darren is going to be on the pole here, so unfortunately, this is randomly becoming an issue here. Until we cross the start finish line, we won't exactly have the correct positions here. Unless something was incorrect there. Bear with us while we get all cars to the grid. Setting up for 40 minutes of racing. Really long laps here, so 40 minutes, 20 laps. We'll be having a pit stop somewhere in there for fuel. Probably going to be burning the most fuel, although Spa would have been a lot too. Okay, we're going to have a very, very short pace lap here. Just got to get everybody onto the grid. Lights are on. Turn 1 is going to be interesting as we head this direction here. Cold tires was an issue. So they run a test race, warm-up race every Wednesday night before the feature. And there was a lot of contact, we'll say, in that race, getting everyone prepared for this. So a reminder to all drivers to watch out for those cold tires. And Aaron's going to bring us to green. He's got Fikachi right on his bumper, trying to get a good jump on Stefan Vapa there. Bump drafting into the first corner. Not sure if Darren likes that or not. Fikachi's going to go through in P2, Vapa in P3. Oh, we've got Colin Kortanek off in turn 5 back here. Scott Kim also off. Back on. Oh, and the contact with Robert Benson there. We'll go up to the front. Check out what is going on there. Battle between Darren Treakle and Steve Fikachi with Stefan Vapa right there. Big gap. Stutzman about 1.5 seconds here. I think we're going to have a big gap develop as we have Aaron Dietrich, who had a really good qualifying position, has it off there. Through the carousel for the first time. Tire temperature is still going to be coming up here, and into this kink is probably the most treacherous place. So we'll see if everybody can get through there. Scott Kim is going to have to tow. That is through the kink. Everybody's so far so good. Harry Duncan comes through. Sten will be behind him. Robert Benson, I don't think he's going to have a front bumper. It's going to be a Road Warrior choice for the night. Might see him into the pit lane. Now we're done with the first lap of this race. Darren Treakle leads. Stefan back there had a bit of a bobble because he's about 1.5 seconds back from Fikachi. These top 3 usually really close at all the tracks we go to. Big drafting opportunities here, although this car, just the nature of this car, doesn't lead to the biggest drafting abilities. Really wide on Steve's line there into turn 5. They actually added a slowdown through there for drivers that were cutting that too much as we go on board with Steve here. Into the carousel here. Look at looking through the field of any more gaps that might be around. Looks like this is the closest battle, Steve and Darren. Stutzman comes through in B4. Peter Yerxa currently our P7 wildcard interview positions, but he's going to have Steven Tenney there hot on his heels. Aaron Dietrich, we know he's fast. He's going to get a good run on Steven up here. I don't know if he'll have quite the speed to get him in turn 1, but oh, we've got Scott Kim coming out of the pits. Robert Benson also did get a stop to repair his car. Unfortunately, Scott had to tow. I think we're going to have a passing opportunity right here coming up from Aaron Dietrich. So I'm going to look inside as we go down to turn 5. Hard under the brakes in turn 5. Oh, and he bobbles it a bit on the exit. It is difficult to hold that low line, and Steven Tenney is going to come back on the inside, or on the outside. Kortanek trying to get into this mix as well. Through the carousel, this trio goes. Closest battle on the track. We'll be keeping an eye on Focacci and Treakle up there first and second. Looks like Dietrich is going to have a good opportunity here in the turn. Oh, and Canada Corner, he locks up the rear brakes, I think, anyway. Let's get a replay of that. I don't think he was helped. See if we can get... Yeah, there was no contact. If we go back to on board with Kortanek here, he was just on his own there, Dietrich was. This is a rear brake lockup is kind of what happens here. So we want to look at Kortanek. He looks inside, but he's plenty ahead of him. Code Brown moment for Colin here. But he gets through no issue. And now he's going to set his sights on... Oh, we've got Yerxa riding through the grass. Under pressure from Tenney. Yeah, Dietrich new to the series here, just getting these cars. He's quick, but getting these braking issues in the race here. One thing to put it together for a qualifying lap, another to put it together for an entire race, 20 laps. Pikachi right on. You can see how fast this group is through that kink there. Steve is not letting Darren breathe. No relief. Through the final corner they go. They will be completing and on to lap 5 here. Looks like Steve's going to have an opportunity for a passing point here. He's going to go outside. Hard to make that move on the outside. As you can see, darkness is coming here on the tracks. In a half hour, it's going to be pitch black. And I think Steve has held off on passing Darren there. I think Steve wants to save fuel, make his pit stop shorter than Darren, and pass him that way. That is a brainy move by Steve. There's a lot of fuel to be saved here at Road America with the big drafting points that they have out here. So we'll look. Dean Tulane is caught up to Dave Fitzgerald up here for that 5th position. Big gaps starting to develop. I'm going to change over to intervals here. You can see just that battle between 1st and 2nd, and that battle between Fitzgerald and Tulane is the closest battle on track. I think this is a good moment to talk about our sponsors here in the series. Bring up our Hagerty Insurance. Some kind of issue here with our display. There it is. Treakle Insurance is an independent insurance agency offering auto, home, business, and life insurance, and they teamed up with Hagerty Insurance, as you see on the screen there, to provide collector car coverage as well as race car and track day coverage. And you can visit their website, treakleinsurance.com. Back to live pictures here. Pikachi right on Darren's bumper. Opts to not go for a pass or anything like that. He's just toying with him, it looks like. But we'll see how this develops. Vapa back here in 3rd position is just dropping. He's about 4 seconds back at this point to this battle for 1st and 2nd. Through the kink they go, running down to Canada corner. Steve's not quite here for a passing point into Canada corner, but it seems about just every lap going into turn 5, he is primed to go into that. Go for the pass, but he seems like he's opting to not do it. Perry Duncan is catching Stephen Tenney also. Perry had fans last week. He did the kind of chivalrous thing, though. And he was ready for that podium position, but he had cut the track, and he let I don't recall who it was. Maybe it was Vapa, Stefan Vapa. Yeah, I believe it was. Through for that podium position. Did not have to do that. This is down in turn 5 racing. Pikachu has really good opportunity to pass. Opts to not. Oh, Darren goes wide out of turn 5. Back to that battle with Perry Duncan. Stephen Tenney. Hortanic behind that one. And Perry's got a better exit from turn 6 than does Stephen Tenney. Hortanic right there as well. Just a half a second back now, so a second between these 3 cars. As they say, you can throw a blanket over them. In the Canada corner. We saw this before, nobody locking up their rakes this time. Hortanic looks like he's thinking to make a move on. Oh, we've got Treakle and Fikachi battling hard here. Hortanic has got around Duncan. Oh, yeah, around Duncan. Now he sets his sights on Tenney. Whoa! Carrying a lot of speed is Hortanic, and he's gonna loop it around and hard into the barrier on the exit there. I'm surprised. He's gonna try to drive it. Let's have a look at this here. Hit a heck of a run really late into the corner here. And just heavy impact into the tire barrier. He's going to bounce across the track. Luckily, no other cars coming through at the time. His car, he's still going though, and even with that heavy contact, somehow able to continue. Stewards might have to check out his settings there and see if he has little miniature guys repairing that car, because that does not seem quite normal. Dave Fitzgerald has caught up to Stefan Vapa there. Vapa having an issue. Did we miss that? That puts Stutzman into the final podium position. Papa goes defensive down the straightaway, goes inside to block, make Fitzgerald to make that move on the outside. Not gonna happen. Fitzgerald's got a good run out of the first corner though. Looks like he's gonna have a good run down the straightaway into turn 5 as well. And he's going to look inside. Does not go for the pass though, but he's going to force Vapa into a mistake. And Fitzgerald's going to take over that 4th position with Dean Tulane lurking in the background coming into this battle. there was an issue here because Perry Duncan got back around, or has fallen into Cortanic once again. And actually Cortanic and Dietrich and Tenny, all of these guys, this is the battle to watch here. I don't know how Colin's car is still going after that heavy contact into the barrier. I'm sure it's not 100% correct, whatever he's running with here. On board with Tenny. He has 3 rivals ahead of him. Oh, we've got Cortanic into the dirt again, into the kitty litter. And he keeps going. I think he went into the braking point too hard once again. Yeah, this is late braking, but then maybe getting the rear locked up as well. Let's have a look at here with the slow-mo. That puts Duncan, less pressure on him. Not a heavy contact there with the tire barrier, and Cortanic is going to keep it going. He's going to opt for the pits, though. This is halfway through the race, so this is the only pit he needs to make. Duncan battling with Dietrich here, side by side. Towards turn 5 they go. And Dietrich's gonna take over that 7th position from Duncan. Oh, really into the grass is Dietrich, though. We're about halfway through this race. This is where this move Ficacci's been trying to set up the entire race is going to happen when Darren pits and Darren opts the pit. Ficacci opts the pit with him. We're going to see, did Steve save enough fuel to make this matter here? Stutzman coming into the pits as well. Bappa and Fitzgerald. I think everybody has to pit. This is a long lap, so it's really tough to stretch it. But this Steve Ficacci might have saved a liter or 2 of fuel, and that could be the difference here with the exit on the here. Here they go. They're going to come out. Ficacci had a slightly faster pit, but he stays behind, so now he's going to have to make this move on the track at some point. Dean is going to stay out. He's apparently saved enough fuel to stay out here. He's going to get a lap lead here. Probably going to duck into the pits after this one. With Steve not able to make that pass, I have to imagine he's going to want to go now, though. He wasn't able to do an undercut, wasn't able to do an overcut. Ooh, but he did have a slight issue there. Let's have a look at our leader, though. Dean Tulane in the lead. SEO Mike car. Be a good opportunity to talk about SEO Mike. Dean is going to opt for the pits here. That'll put the battle for the lead back to Steve and Darren. So talking SEO Mike, let's bring up our other sponsors here in the series. So SEO Mike, they specialize in organic search engine optimization. They've been doing it for the last 24 years, since 1997. And during that time, they've spent working on over 4,000 websites in a wide variety of industries, and they've helped them achieve strong rankings in search engines, leading to growth, traffic, sales, and revenue increased. So that's what every business wants. Then we have Beltway Brewing Company. So Beltway Brewing Company is located in Sterling, Virginia. We've got Sten Cellier back this week with them, so we'll have a look at him. So Beltway Brewing Company, Sterling, Virginia. They proudly represent the DMV. You can check out their lineup of unique IPAs, lager, sour, stouts, and even seltzers. And they have flights and empanadas by Peruvian Brothers are now available in the tap room. And for all things Beltway Brewing Company, go to beltwaybrewco.com. You can also follow them on the social media. That's Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, that kind of stuff, at Beltway Brew Co. So check them out. Battle is heating up for the lead here with about 9 laps to go. We're estimating it might be 8 laps. Stefan Vapa is going to put himself back into that 3rd spot. Stutzman having an issue. Okay, Stutzman, I believe he accidentally took tires, so that is a first race mistake here. Darren goes defensive into Canada corner here. So these drivers have a lot of different options for their setup here. Like low down first, less rear wing. I'm assuming that Steve and Darren both like really trimmed out for this race setup. Steve's got a really good run. He's gonna probably look outside. Oh, he's actually giving him bump draft. Well, that's one way to do it. Actually, I want to go back and look at that, but we'll look at this through turn 5 here. Yeah, let's go on board with Steve here, and we'll go back about 40 seconds. So let's see, it sounded like to me like he hit him. Bump draft here. Let's see what we see here. See what we hear. Yeah, that certainly seemed like a bump draft to me. Stefan Vapa there in P3 is 20 seconds behind Darren and Steve here. Aaron Dietrich into the pits. Scott Kim coming out of the pits as well. He's a lap down. Let's quickly go through the field. So, as we've been discussing all night here, Darren Treakle in P1, Steve Ficacci blinking his lights behind, just trying to mess with Darren up here in the lead, trying to get him to have a lapse of thought and concentration. We've got Stefan Vapa in P3. Dave Fitzgerald, P4. Dean Tulane, he's been having some really good runs this season, and he's in that SEO Mike car. Really good runs by Dean here in the last half of the season. Andrew Stutzman, one of our kind of newer drivers here in P6. Perry Duncan, currently in that interview wildcard position in P7. Let me know if he has any supporters out here tonight in the chat. I know he had some last week. Colin Kortanek, P8. About 4 seconds back from Perry up there. Steven Tenney, P9. Stancelier is going to move into 10th. Aaron Dietrich is actually out of the car at the moment. I'm not sure what happened. He was in 11th. This puts Yerxa into 12th. Okay, well, there we go. Maybe we had a little blink from Aaron here. Yeah, because he disappeared on me for a moment. Yerxa, Benson, and Kim. They're rounding out the field. Closest battle on the track continues to be Fikachi and Treakle. Looking at pit stops, Dave Fitzgerald for some reason had a 21-second versus 14-second stop. By most everybody else, might have taken too much fuel. Going on board with Fikachi here. We'll figure out which one we want. Which side of the car do we want? This is Raceverse coverage of the BMW National Capital Chapter Car Club of America here. Into Turn 1, Road America. Round 10, 2 more rounds to go. I believe it is Interlagos next week, followed by final round at Laguna Seca, like everybody knows. And I guess shout out, nothing to do with this particular league, but IndyCar will be heading to a new street course in Nashville downtown here this weekend. Will be televised on Sunday by NBC Sports or NBC Network, can't remember which one, at 5:30. Check out your local listings for which one, but it's going to be a heck of a event. Has a lot of local media and a lot of coverage. We're going to have 27 cars starting the race. That's a big number for the IndyCar series. So check it out. The Music City Grand Prix from Nashville Street Circuit. It's going to be over this bridge. They got scuba divers in the water just in case the car goes over. Pretty nutty stuff, but that's what they do if there's any bridge near the track. So. But here we are, Road America. Steve's gonna need to make something happen here. But I think he can do it. Although he has dropped back just slightly, but I think he can do it. As they head over the start-finish line, we're going to be 5 laps to go here tonight. Road America through turn 1. There's this light kink there that's considered turn 2 through turn 3. Running down to the 5th corner. One of the kinks here is turn 4. VRG Virtual Racing Group, Rick's Flicks on that car of Steve Fikachi. We are missing Chris Hill this week. I believe he's still out doing some professional racing and not able to come here this week. He was the championship leader before he departed. Should be back next week, maybe. So Chris was out doing some driving at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course, and I've also got word that the Indianapolis Motor Speedway is going to be getting an iRacing rescan. That scan from there is about a 2009 scan. Since 2014, they've had an updated road course that's slightly different, and that will be coming onto the service here in iRacing sometime soon. Obviously, that could be 6 months, it could be a year, but sometime within, I would say, the next year, we'll be having a new Indianapolis Motor Speedway, greatest race course in the world, with a new road course that is kind of a preferred road course to the old Formula One-ish layout. Steve is right there. Cortanic also catching Perry Duncan there for that 7th position. Oh, we've got Perry into the wall, into the tire barrier. That's going to knock him out of that 7th spot. What happened to Perry? Oh boy. Tough break for Perry Duncan here. Through turn 7, I think. Yeah, he's going to get it all wrong here. Is Perry. Slow-mo we go. Is it too much curb or... Yeah, I think it was too much curb. Yeah, oof. That's a tough hit. And Cortanic has to do evasive action to get that out of that way. So Cortanic goes into our 7th position. Tough break for Perry. Back to this battle for the lead. We are running open setups here. I'm not sure if we're going to run open setups next season or not. I know some people like open setups, some people like the closed setups, fixed setups. I think my personal preference would have been keep it fixed setups, make it all about the driver, as we are really, really close. We had some light contact, it appeared, between Steve and Darren here. They've kept it clean, really clean through this race. Darren going defensive. Is there a... Yeah, there is a lapped car there. That was Perry. Does not want to get involved with anything there. Steve is right there on Darren coming out of turn 3. On board with Steve. Three laps to go. Really early braking there for Steve this time. Tries to get a better exit out of the corner here. Ooh, there was a little bit of a checkup from Steve there, and Darren has his biggest gap he's really had all race here. You could see that wheel lock there. Let me see if I can go back and find it where that was here. The rear of the car over this little kink here gets really light, so you're going to watch it here slow-mo. You watch that wheel on the left, he's turning it to the left, and then suddenly he's going to counter steer to the right as he catches the sliding car, the drift to that corner. Of course, it's not going to look like a Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift kind of drift, but it's just a minor little thing, and that's a half second that Darren gains on him there. Big gaps throughout the rest of the field here. Looking at fastest laps. So, these are everybody's fastest laps. This is miles per hour. Darren is currently top of the chart. average speed over the course of a lap. Yeah, you can see Steve there having to fight his car even more. Have to imagine. So they did not stop for tires. They never really stop for tires because it takes a really long time to stop and change those. But you know, so they're pretty old tires at this point. We're thinking about 2 laps to go here. It is almost fully dark here. Still a little bit of light out here, and obviously the headlights help quite a bit. Colin Kartanik in our wild card interview position. He had a wild race. We're gonna have to ask him if he finishes that, how he was able to get that car going with that heavy tire barrier contact. Steve was caught right back up to Darren up here. This should be white flag here. They've got lap traffic ahead. Yeah, this will be white flag. Final lap. One final run. No more holding back, and they've got that lap traffic there. I'm sure Darren is not wanting to see that. Not 100% sure who that is either. I think it's Sten. Yes, it is Sten in 9th position. Gets out of the way. That's really gentlemanly driving by Sten there. Steve definitely gets a better drive out of that turn 5 with that really wide arc that he takes to the corner there. But that was his best, from what we've seen, his best opportunity for a passing zone. We're going to have one more in the Canada corner. We're going to have a familiar podium here with Treakle, Ficacci, and Vapa here. Thought we might have a difference in the podium here today with maybe a Dietrich or a Stutzman up there as well, but not to be. Even Fitzgerald could have been there. And he's not going to be there. I wonder if Steve will think that maybe I should have tried this at an earlier point in the race. I'm not sure. We'll have to ask him about that in the podium interview. Darren's gonna finish the race with the fastest lap. Ficacci, P2. And Vapa is going to be back here. P3, Dave Fitzgerald, P4. Not sure we're going to get to our Destruction Derby here. A long track for everybody to find each other. Yeah, heck of a race by Darren here. Let's see what happens here. Here comes somebody to show Sten where the moon is. No, nobody's gonna hit him. Here we go, maybe. He's setting him up, setting it up. Nobody's gonna take it. Here we go, Scott's. This is way back here on the kink, I think. So, here we go. There we go. That's what we were waiting for. It came back. It didn't exit the course here. So that is what we were waiting for. So we'll be right back and we'll get our interviews going here. All right, we are back. Let's see if we can get Darren up here. Hey, Darren. Well, let's see. I'm not getting anything.
Matt.
Yep. There we go. I was on push to talk for this.
Yep.
So hey, how's it going? You started from the lead, or you had the pole, and you led it. Well, you might not have led every lap. I think that Dean might have led one lap, but you led everything else.
Yeah. Dean, I think was a lap or two was ahead of us when we came out of the pits.
Yep.
Because he hadn't pitted yet. But no, it was a good race. I mean, I really like Road America. So I like it in real life. I like it in virtual.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I was looking forward to this one. It's one of those tracks I felt like I probably would do pretty well at. So
I thought maybe Steve was just like maybe toying with you for the first half of it, like not trying to go for a pass or anything like that. But after the pit in the second stint, you just kind of you maintained the gap over him, and he actually was starting to get some like tire wheel spin just a little bit in the corners, and you were able to get out. You won by 3/4 of a second. Other times on that it was like 1/4 of a second. So in that first stint, but yeah, you pulled it off, and you had the fastest lap. Yeah, heck of a run.
Yeah, it was a good run. I don't know how old you are, Matt, but if you remember that TV show V from way back in the day, it was when the aliens came down, and
I do not know this one.
Oh yeah, and I felt like I was in the movie V, and I had an alien behind me, and he did hit me from behind a couple of times. So I think that was his way of probing me, which was very weird.
Yeah,
and
we got one of them, at least one of them. I went back and got a replay. I was like, I'm pretty sure he's bump drafting him.
yeah, he bumped draft me a couple times.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was a couple. Obviously I was out front, so he could get a good draft. And if he got a good run out of the last turn going up the front straight,
yes,
he could, he would get a good draft. So, but it was funny because there was a couple of areas that he was quicker, and then there were some areas of the track that I was a little quicker, and I was being a little like going through. I think it was turn 6, which is at the with turn 5 at the bottom of the middle straight there, the left-hander, and then the left-hander under the bridge.
Yes.
I was being a little careful there because last night I had spun a couple of times just because of the weight transfer and turning and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's just really slight there, but you can get turned around. You can lock up the rear brakes just ever so slightly, and then your car goes around.
That's
right
it,
there. Yeah.
and it would have ruined my race. It would have ruined his race too because he was so close. He would have hit me. But so those sections I was a little more, tried to back it down just a little bit. But the other sections, I just was letting it rip, and he would have a little issue. I would have a little issue. Maybe a little game of cat and mouse or whatever you want to play, say. And it was good. It was good fun, good clean race,
The main place I felt he was faster than you and would have been his passing point was into turn 5.
Yes.
He had some good runs there, and I felt like, well, in turn 1, and I just felt like he didn't take him when he could have. I thought maybe he was trying to save fuel or something behind you, and he might try to stretch you a lap. But you ended up pitting on the same lap. Did you notice, though, maybe you couldn't, because he takes a really wide line into that turn 5, like over the rumble strips just slightly. So he gets a really good run on the exit of turn 5.
I did notice that.
Yeah.
And I feel like I noticed the last time we were here running. I feel like I remember seeing Chris do that as well. And so I didn't practice that.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't want to. I didn't want to do it in the race, because I just didn't. I've seen them do it. Obviously, there's grip out there, and it can be done. But since I hadn't done it in practice and hadn't done it, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to stick to my line, what I've been doing.
Yeah.
That way, I kind of play it safe. And
from what I understand, you don't want to do that on the first lap on cold tires.
Right.
So I have a friend that runs a even wider line into that corner. He goes like all the way over there's like a little bit of pavement over there. He puts his whole entire car over there. But they've actually updated the track where that will give you a slowdown now. So I was wondering if Steve was going to be that close to get a slowdown over there, because they did put one in over there just to like prevent you from going so wide over there. Anyway, I never wanted to take that line because I feel like I'm like you, where it's like I'm used to what I do. I'll go to the edge of that rumble strip with my right side tires, but I won't go over there too much more. But
yeah,
I mean, I take too.
I felt like maybe I could squeeze a little bit more out, and maybe a tenth or two or whatever, or maybe not. Maybe I'd crash, spin. Yeah. But I mean, I felt like my lap times were such that I didn't really need to go out there. We were running comparable lap times, and I ran a little bit quicker lap. So if I was off the pace a little bit, then that would be a different story. Then maybe I'd try something different. But I kind of felt like there was really no need to try something new and screw up in the process.
One day I'll give it a try and practice, but certainly not in the middle of a race.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you don't want to, getting an X would be one thing, but getting a slowdown, that would just be a bummer.
Yeah. Well, next week we're going to Interlagos, and then final round at Laguna Seca. Any thoughts going there? And obviously, shout out to sponsors here in the series or anybody watching. And thank you.
Well, I like Interlagos. It's a neat track, so that's cool. And then I like Laguna Seca. I don't do the best there. It's a tough track with elevation, and then it's not a very grippy track. So you can really screw up going into the corkscrew.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to both races. And as far as shout outs, I'll give a shout out to Treakle Insurance Agency, Hagerty Motorsports, the BMW Club, SEO Mike. Man, I missed a week in the field. I got to remember who everybody is that I need to thank. Then Scott and yourself.
Beltway Brewing Company. There you go.
oh, Beltway Brewing Company. Sten. Yeah, I knew I would forget somebody.
Yep.
So Sten at Beltway, yeah. You miss a week, you get out of the routine, and look what happens.
Well, I hope you had a good vacation. And
I did.
Good
Thank
to
you.
hear. And we'll see you back next week.
Thanks, Matt. Take care.
You too. All right, we will get Steve up here. Hey, Steve, this is Matt up in the booth. Got a copy?
Sure do. How are you, Matt?
Good. Well, how about you? So my thoughts is I thought you were like toying with Darren in the first half of this race, like giving him some bump drafting, like maybe slowing down and say I thought maybe you were saving fuel or something, for the pit stops, by
Should have.
not going for a passing, pass or anything like that. But
You know,
tell me
I
how
didn't have any
yours.
huge runs. I think I had like one down the front stretch. I was on the outside, and I think I just left him a little bit too much room, and he got back by. And then we had one into Canada Corner, where I think I probably should have pushed it a little harder, but it was still early in the race, and I was like, it'd be dumb to crash out on like lap 6. So I kind of let him have it back by, but I didn't have any like awesome opportunities. Like I probably could have stuck my nose in a time or two, but I really felt like the corners I was better than him were kind of like on the infield or slow corners where I couldn't really. It wouldn't amount to much. You know what I mean? Like I felt out of 5 going over the hill there, and 6, even 7, I was a little bit faster, but wasn't close enough into 8 ever to make that move, which is a really I feel like it would have been a good one, but yeah, just the places I was faster didn't really pan out too well, and I was hoping to be a little closer on the pit stop, but I probably took about a half a gallon too much, which I don't think would have put me in front of him, but we probably would have came out like side by side and maybe gave me a chance.
Yeah. Well, pit exit side by side is pretty tough here.
Yeah,
you probably
narrow.
get a slowdown or get a penalty leaving the pits or something. One thing I wanted to talk to you about, and I was talking to Darren about, is your line through turn 5. So I have a friend of mine that runs a really, really wide line into turn 5 in the IndyCar is what we usually run. But they actually added a slowdown if you take it too far wide over there. Now, I don't know if you've gone that far, but
I got it in practice. So yeah, I'm well aware of it. I don't exactly know where it is. So I kind of had a point that I knew was safe, and I knew if I got too close to the wall, I'd get a slowdown.
Yep.
And at the point I was at, like, I was coming out of that corner on his bumper most times, so it was like any more wouldn't have helped. And I don't think I could have got alongside him going over the hill. So it was kind of like I said, it was just one of those spots I felt like I was faster than him, but it really wouldn't have amounted to much. Unless if I got in front of him, maybe I could have put a little distance on those few corners in the sequence, but I just couldn't get in front of him.
Yeah, exactly. That's I think to get the slowdown, you have to do it earlier. You were kind of late into it where you were going really wide there, but it's an interesting line. Darren and I were kind of agreeing that this is not something you try in the middle of the race. This is something you try and practice before you attempt it.
I think the trick is there's that dirt there, so the dirt ends. If you try to like ride the right line and then turn over, it's kind of too late, and that's why I kind of go to the middle of the track and then kind of drive across it, and that seems to work for me anyway.
Yeah. Well, it's an interesting line. It's kind of was fun to watch. The two different lines through there. You'd certainly looked faster through there, but it didn't amount to much in the end because of how tight that section was. But yeah, heck of a run. It was fun seeing you doing a little bit of bump drafting on him into turn 1. But other than that, we're going to Interlagos next week, Laguna Seca final race. Any thoughts going there? I think we talked a little bit about it last week.
I like Laguna. I don't really know much about Interlagos. Don't care for it, but haven't really done a ton of laps in it either. So I guess we'll have to see. Yeah, I mean, who knows?
Hey, any shout outs, thank yous, friends watching, that kind of thing?
Yeah, just thanks to all our sponsors. Need to thank my wife, Rick's Flicks, VRG, and then our league sponsors, the CEO Mike, Treakle Insurance, Hagerty, and Beltway Brewery.
Sounds good. Well, we will see you back next week. I think that you might like Interlagos once you get driving it a little bit. It's kind of
a lot of times if you're fast somewhere, you kind of like it, and if it doesn't, if you can't really figure it out, then you hate it. So I guess we'll see where I fall on the running order, and that might determine how much I like it.
Yeah, well, we'll talk to you next week most likely. Anyway, so we'll see you then.
All right, thank you.
Sorry, I had a frog go in my throat or something. Hey, Stefan. This is Matt up in the booth. Sorry, I was having a coughing fit there. So I'll let you do the talking about the race.
Sure, that was I didn't have very high expectations for this evening. I had zero time in the car prior to signing on, and so my goal was to just not screw up. And
Did you accomplish that?
not 100%, but it didn't change the result. So I screwed up sitting in third, which let what was that? Andrew and Dave kind of find their way by me. I got back by Dave, and then I don't know exactly what happened. Dave and I went into the pits nose to tail, and I left, and he didn't.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened to him because he had a
he's not
21
sure
second
either.
pit stop. It seems like my guess would be he took more fuel, but it certainly wasn't tires. Or he changed one tire.
I think he may have changed like one tire. We were just watching the replay, and it looks like he got jacked up. But that's too short to take all four tires.
That's right.
But it's way too long to have filled the tank with, even if you filled it to the brim, which you almost had to do here. I think I put 9 gallons in, and I finished with 1 gallon. So I was a little conservative, but and then I don't know where Andrew disappeared to. He ended up behind me. I came out, and suddenly I was back in third again. And then it was kind of a lonely race.
I think he had a full tire stop.
Oh, okay. Well,
that's what I think anyway. Yeah.
So my mistake last week is apparently rubbing off.
Yeah, going back to what Dave might have done there, so over in the IndyCar, you turn off all the tires. There's no such thing as changing one tire. So whenever I do change to another car that's like this, is like all of a sudden I'm realizing I need to uncheck everything, and it really catches me out. And I've done that before myself. So yeah, not fun.
Yeah. So driving the car, I just did not have a good feel for it tonight. I'm leaving for a race tomorrow morning. I've got all sorts of packing to do, so my head just is not in the game tonight. And so I was able to kind of digitally put in a good lap for qualifying, but to hold it together for an entire race, I really had to back it down. And so I knew I wasn't going to be challenging with Darren and Steve tonight.
Yeah, unless you kept up with them in the draft, but even that's kind of hard to do in some of these corners. So yeah, it's not quite as like Daytona where you can stick with that draft even if you are a little bit slower. But anyway, I think we talked about Interlagos last week, and the final race will be at Laguna. I think you said that you were looking forward to those, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I am. So I'm sort of 50-50 whether I'm going to make it next week because I have to leave for vacation on Friday morning. So it might be another one of those situations where I'll come in cold and might not have much of a feel for it. I really do want to because I enjoy Interlagos.
Yeah, it's a great track.
Yeah, it's got all the features that I enjoy in terms of it's a natural landscape course, and it goes up and down and all. It's got just wild corners.
Hey, it'll be a perfect place for. So I don't know if you read. You probably did that iRacing's going to add rain at some point in time. This would be perfect. Or Interlagos would be perfect for rain.
It would, because it rains there on occasion.
Yeah, it does.
Well, there's been some great rain races there over the years that I've watched. So
that's right.
Yeah, I'm not. Wow, that'll be crazy.
Yeah, I just thought of that on this right now. So yeah, that'll be pretty cool. Hey, any sponsors, shout outs, that kind of thing before we forget about it?
Sure. This week I'm going to mention the race I'm going to tomorrow, and it's a little different from what people normally in terms of vintage racing. It's a hill climb, but it's a vintage hill climb. So this is Mount Equinox in Vermont. The nearest town is Manchester. And the VSCCA, which is the Vintage Sports Car Club of America, has been running it since 1972. So at that point, they sort of put a year limit on it, and no newer cars than that could run anymore. But it's a very historic hill climb. If anybody happens to be in the area and wants to stop by and see some cool cars, I recommend you do that.
What kind of car are you going to be driving?
This weekend, I am going to be driving my 68 Saab Sonnet with the roof cut off. My dad will be in his 59 Lotus 7.
I was gonna say, I remembered a Lotus in there.
Yep. And we're usually pretty competitive there. I've actually won that hill climb the last few years running with that car. So if things go well and nobody shows up with like
Something, yeah.
yeah, something wild, I guarantee I'll be the fastest car up the hill with a license plate on the back.
There you go. Yeah, because it sounds like something where somebody can show up with like a hill climb car, but it has to be from a certain year.
Yeah, it's. I mean, most of these cars are set up for running the road courses that are more typical. Yeah, going to Lime Rock and going to VIR, stuff like that. My car actually is set up for hill climbs, so I've got a rally gearbox in it. So it runs through the gears really quickly. I think it's set up so that top gear, which is fourth, in 7,800 RPM, which is red line, is like 101 miles an hour. So it runs through the gears rather quickly, which makes it a great hill car for that hill. It's a pretty bumpy hill too, so the soft Saab suspension does a great job with it. But there's going to be a lot of cool cars. A bunch of pre-war cars show up.
Very cool.
So anybody that's a fan of cars, which most of the people on this are, would enjoy
I
it.
would imagine so.
In the area. Yep.
Well, good luck at that event, and we'll see you. We'll see you back here next week, hopefully.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
If I get my packing done early, I'll be here.
Yeah, make sure to get that done earlier, so we got you here for Interlagos. So.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah,
Thanks.
you take care. Talk to you.
Yeah. Bye.
All right, we've got Colin. Hey, Colin, this is Matt down here in the booth. Got a copy?
How you doing, man?
I'm good. I didn't forget about you. Well,
Oh, you should have.
yeah, we probably got most of your action on the camera today. So tell me about all that.
Just some stupid mistakes, right? Some poor driving. I had good pace in qualifying. I thought, even after my mistakes, good driving. Just made too many mistakes. Just missing the braking zone or. I don't know. I can't explain what happened, but it's unfortunate. But I was looking forward to at least give Dean a run for his money and race up there with him and with Andrew. But unfortunately, just made too many mistakes. So.
Well, what I also wanted to know, and I mentioned this during the broadcast, I'm like, how is his car still running after hitting that tire barrier as hard as you did?
I got a meatball, and so so that actually was okay because I timed it. So that I would get my fast repair while I was getting fuel. But again, just too many mistakes. A little frustrated, but maybe just wasn't fully rested or fully prepared and heading out on vacation tomorrow. So I just got a lot of things going on in my head. And when you're kind of driving by yourself a little bit on this track, your mind starts to wander. You start looking at the cheese, the cheese posters and all that stuff, and it's also breaking point.
The bratwurst posters as well.
The bratwurst too. That's probably the one that got me the most excited. Yes, the Johnsonville. So, but all good. It was still fun, and I was looking forward to the end. I thought Perry and I might have a good race, and then he made a mistake and he went across track, spun out, and almost hit me as well. But I was looking forward to kind of catching up to him and just finishing it strong. But hey, at least I made it to the booth, so I'll take it.
I kind of call it the wild card interview position is what I call it. But yeah, tough break for Perry there because I kind of wanted to get to talk to him after last week. He had he was set up for that podium, and then he kind of I think he let Stefan by because he had to slow down, that kind of thing. So he just missed out on it. So. Yeah,
it's frustrating when it's like the only reason you didn't finish better is because you just you made mistakes and it wasn't somebody else who did it. So it's unfortunate, but that's why we do this. Keep racing. I've had some better races. I've had some podiums. So just keep chugging away and hopefully get a better result next time.
Hey, well, next week. Well, are you going on vacation and won't be here?
I'm going on
next week?
vacation. We're heading out tomorrow morning at dawn down to South Carolina. But so I'm going to miss next week's race, but I'll be back to close out the season.
Well, I hope you have a safe journey and a happy
Thanks.
vacation. Any final shout outs, that kind of stuff? Sponsors, friends, families that are watching, that kind of thing?
If there's any of those gas burn folks out there, I apologize. I didn't do better, but thanks for watching. And hopefully Sten can throw me some free beer so I can wash away the sorrows.
There you go. Well, you take care. Have a happy or have a safe trip and all that, Colin.
You too, Matt. Hey, thanks as always for doing the broadcast, man. You're doing a great job, so I appreciate it.
Thank you guys for having me.
All right, bud. Have a good night.
Yeah, you too.
Bye.
All right, that is it for. Just muted myself. There we go. I didn't mean to do that. So let's go through our final results here. They've been shown on the screen for the last, 20 minutes. But we've got Darren Treakle, P1, Steve Figacci, P2, Stefan Vappa, P3. Check out that vintage race he's gone to in Vermont there. You'd have to replay it to get the exact details. But Dave Fitzgerald, P4, Dean Tulane, P5, Andrew Stutzman, P6, Colin Cortana, you just heard from him in P7, Stephen Tanny, P8, Sten Cellier. Quiet night for Sten, but gets that top 10 finish. Aaron Dietrich, P10. Peter Yerxa, Robert Benson. Scott Kim, not a great night for Scott. He got that first lap incident, and that just set him back. And another tough break for Perry there. We're going to be rooting for him. I guess the broadcaster's not supposed to root for people, but you want guys to have a good drive and get what's due to them. And we're going to be hoping for Barry to get back up there and get into that interview kind of position. So everybody take care. Next week we'll be here same time, same place for Interlagos, one of my favorite Formula One tracks. So that's going to be really fun. I think it'll be the first time we broadcast it here on the channel. Over in Formula Indy, we did it. That was over on the Twitch channel. It was a preseason race. But it will be in the Formula Indy series in the upcoming season. I think it's the final race. As it kind of should be in Formula One. So you guys take care. Thanks to SEO Mike, Beltway Brewing Company, Darren Treakle, and Hagerty Insurance. You guys, thanks for having us here, and we will see you next week.